Have you ever run ads on Facebook, maybe Google, and you received absolutely terrible results? So a few years ago, I noticed an ad on Facebook promoting a webinar that was selling a business opportunity. Now listen, this business opportunity was to be a media buyer. Now I had no interest in this business opportunity of being a media buyer, but as a student of the game, I frequently will attend these types of presentations just to see what the speaker is doing right, what they're doing wrong, how they're creating desire, stuff like that. So I opted in and I started watching it. Now, a few hours into the presentation, I noticed something really disturbing. This entrepreneur was encouraging amateur media buyers to go out to local businesses and get them under retainer. And most of the retainers were between $1,000 and $3,000 per month in exchange for media buying services, which I'll explain what a media buyer is in just a second. Then he went on to say, you're going to use the client's money and you're going to run the ads. And that's how you're going to learn how to do this. You're going to learn with the client's money. That was his big, bold promise. Now, listen, I have been screwed by media buyers multiple times in the past. I have lost a tremendous amount of money hiring the wrong people who overpromised and wildly underdelivered. So when I started hearing him talk like this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the guy who is convincing these media buyers, these, people who just want to make money, to go out and scam these local businesses. When here's the simple truth. If you don't know how to be a media buyer, the way you learn how to be a media buyer is by risking your own money, not risking your client's money. Would you guys agree? All right, so you're probably wondering, Ryan, what exactly is a media buyer? So a media buyer is a person who creates, launches, and manages paid ads on Google, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Now, a simple way to think about it is a media buyer is the person who is pushing buttons to launch an ad on one of these platforms. But they're really not concerned about what happens after the person clicks on the ad. So you got to remember, there's multiple components here to attracting a new customer or new patient into your practice. You've got the ad, which is going to grab their attention, create desire, get them to click on the ad. That brings them to a sales page or a landing page, which is then sharing a story, creating desire, introducing your irresistible offer. And then you've got what happens at your office. So is your office staff contacting the lead properly? Are they contacting them quickly? How are they getting them scheduled for the appointment over the phone? How are they overcoming objections? So these are the three kind of components. You've got the ad, landing page, and you've got your office. All three of those components have to be working properly to convert cold traffic into a paid appointment. Is this making sense? But a media buyer only cares about the first step. They care about if people are clicking on the ad. They don't give a flying about what happens after they click on the ad. So here are 6 massive problems of hiring a media buyer that every chiropractor needs to know. So number 1 is the skill set. Would you agree that just because a person claims to be an expert, it doesn't mean that they are? So a few months ago, I got contacted by a chiropractor in Pennsylvania who was really struggling to keep his business afloat, taking out business loans. He was really struggling. So as I was talking to him and trying to figure out what his problems are, what he's tried in the past and what he's doing that's worked or didn't work, he shared with me that he was currently spending $2,500 per month running Google ads. So I said, hey, doc, can you show me the landing page for these ads? And he said, what's a landing page? And I thought, oh my gosh, this guy is spending $30,000 per year on ads, and he doesn't even know what a landing page is. It's such a basic thing, right? So a landing page, when somebody sees your ad on Google and then they click on the link to find out more information, the page that they see next, that is called a landing page. So he said, oh no, I don't have one of those. When somebody clicks on the ad, they get brought to the homepage of my website. This is the moment that I realized that this chiropractor had hired a amateur media buyer. And this person was absolutely wasting $2,500 every single month on ads that will never work. They're never going to convert. All right, so number 2 is media buyers can be extremely expensive. So I shared with you earlier that I had been screwed by media buyers multiple times throughout my entrepreneurial journey. And finally, I was so fed up, so pissed off I said, you know what? I need somebody to run these ads. I need it. So I'm not going to hire these cheap people anymore that are charging me $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. I'm going to go find the most successful, most influential media buyer in America, and I'm going to hire them. And I found that person, which if I said the name, anybody that's in the marketing world knows who this person is. I hired this person and I paid them $60,000. Now listen, my wife was pissed. She's like, Ryan, what the hell are you doing? Every time we hire a media buyer, it never works. And I said, Tiff, this is going to be different because we're not spending $1,000 or $2,000 a month anymore. We are spending like really big money. And I was under the false belief that if I spent a lot of money and if I hired an industry leading expert, I was going to get the best results. That did not turn out to be the case in this situation. This individual was an expert, but what they did is they started outsourcing the media buying activities to a third party in other countries like India and the Philippines. Now listen, most of my staff is in the Philippines, so there's nothing wrong with that. That's not the point that I'm making. But they just did a really, really crappy job, and I spent a tremendous amount of money. So you've got to be very cautious. Just because you're spending more money does not mean you're getting a better result. So problem number 3 is dependency. So the third problem of hiring a media buyer is dependency. You know, Dan Kennedy is famous for saying, the most dangerous number in business is 1. Now, if you're getting the majority of your new patients through Facebook ads, what would happen? What would you do if Facebook changed the algorithm and the ads simply stopped working? Now, I'm not saying this to scare you guys, but I've literally watched this happen with countless businesses, my friends who were extremely successful. They were thriving. And like a light switch, they lost the majority of their traffic and they started struggling in a very big way. And that's because they were dependent on one media channel to get the majority of their new customers. Instead, we want to build a well-rounded marketing system where we're attracting new patients from a variety of different sources so that if you lose one of those sources of traffic, which is not an if, it's just a when, it will happen. Like Google does their updates all the time, once a year, twice a year, and it happens every single time. A business who's getting a tremendous amount of traffic through organic, Google search, when Google does their update, like a light switch, all of their traffic is gone. And then us marketers, we're like scrambling, trying to figure out what did Google change? What do we need to do now to get these people ranking high again? And we're all fighting to try to figure it out. And of course, Google doesn't make it easy. It's like trying to decipher the Da Vinci Code here. All right, so problem number 4 is that many media buyers lack balls. They lack the cojones to say the truth. In fact, last month, we were fired by a client because I refused to do something that was going to waste the client's money. So let me explain. One day I got a phone call from this client and he said, Ryan, I want you to run ads for this particular thing. And I said, hey, listen, Dr. Frustration, this is not a smart idea. So what you're trying to do is not going to work. You are going to spend a tremendous amount of money, okay? And you're not going to get the result that you think you're going to get. It's not going to work. And then he said, that's okay. I want you to do it because I'm taking out a loan for my business. And when the loan officer Googles my name, I want my name to show up at the top. And I said, so that he can qualify for this loan. And I said, Dr. Frustration, that is not the way a business loan works. That loan officer doesn't care whether you show up at the top of Google or you show up at the bottom. This is not how they make their decisions. But he is a very strong-willed person who ignores advice from experts. So he said, I want you to do it, make it happen. And I said, listen, Dr. Frustration, you're not listening to me. I am not going to do this because I know that this is not going to give you the result that you desire. It is going to waste a tremendous amount of your money. And I also know that when this doesn't work, you're going to blame me because it didn't work. And he said, fine, I'll just hire somebody that will do it. And I said, perfect. That's amazing. Go hire somebody else because I am not going to put my reputation on the line and waste a ton of your money, piss it away for nothing. We need to have a real objective and a real goal. And frankly, many media buyers, they're afraid of losing a client. I don't need more clients, okay? I'm happy with what I have. My businesses are all successful. I don't need you. What I need, though, is my reputation, which is far more important. All right, problem number 5 is that many media buyers lack industry knowledge. So recently I met a media buyer at an event, and she shared something very disturbing with me. So this young woman was uploading a list of her clients' patients onto Facebook and then creating a lookalike audience. So Facebook analyzes all the different data points of that customer list, the patient list, and they figure out what they all have in common. And then they create an audience that looks similar, an audience of people using Facebook that looks similar to the list of patients. And then it starts showing all those ads to that lookalike audience. Now listen, lookalike audiences are an extremely powerful tool in the advertising world. However, because of HIPAA, lookalike audiences are a violation of protected health information because you are providing protected health information to Facebook, who is not a HIPAA compliant business. Facebook is not HIPAA secured. You at no time can upload your patient list to Facebook because without getting a fear of a lawsuit, because it is illegal. And this media buyer, frankly, I don't think the media buyer's client knows that the media buyer is doing this, or the client isn't aware that it's a violation. But either way, this media buyer is putting her client in a very bad situation because she lacks the knowledge to do the right thing. All right, problem number 6 is hidden fees. You know, hiring a media buyer is not a small investment. It's a considerable amount of money. In fact, one of my competitors charges $1,497 per niche. So if you wanted to promote peripheral neuropathy, frozen shoulder, plantar fasciitis, and knee pain, you would have to pay over $5,000 per month to run ads in all of those different niches. And the worst part is that this fee does not include the ad spend. So you would need to pay $5,000 per month plus however much money Facebook wanted to show your ads, right? So now if these ads are optimized and performing at a really high level, they will bring in 2x, 5x, or maybe even 10x more money than you're spending. So this fee could be irrelevant if it's working properly. However, some media buyers take it a step further. And not only do they charge a fee to push the buttons, but they also want 20% of the money that you spend on Facebook or Google. So here's an example. Let's say that you want to spend $10,000 per month running Facebook ads. Now, some media buyers are going to charge you $1,400 or more just to push the buttons, leaving you with $8,600 to give to Facebook in exchange for showing your ads. Now, these sketchy media buyers will charge you an additional 20% of whatever amount of money you spend on Facebook. So if in this example, if you're spending $8,600 times 20%, that's $1,720. So that makes your total amount of money that you're spending on ads every month $11,720. Now, personally, I find this to be very annoying and unethical. I think that it's okay to charge a percentage of ad spend if the client is spending a tremendous amount of money. Like I heard a story recently of the guy who was running all the ads for Uber, and Uber was spending $75 million a year on ads. Listen, if you're spending that much money, that's a lot of work to manage and make sure it's all working properly. I think it's reasonable to charge a percentage of ad spend in a situation like that. For a small local business that's not spending a lot of money, $10,000, I just don't think that that's enough. It's not enough work to have to charge such a hefty fee of 20%. All right, so problem number 7 with hiring a media buyer is that they frequently overpromise and wildly underdeliver. You've probably seen ads on Facebook from a media buyer who promised to get you 30 new patients in the next 4 hours. Now, that's an exaggeration. Many of them say, get 30 new patients in 30 days or you don't pay. Now, it sounds like a really good deal on the surface, right? Like I think that sounds like a good deal. But there's an underlying cost that these media buyers are hiding from you. These media buyers are promising that you don't have to pay the media buying fee. However, you're still responsible for paying Facebook or Google the fee to show your ads. So here's an example. Let's say your budget is $10,000 per month to spend on Facebook ads, and the media buyer is going to charge $1,400 per month just to push the buttons. So that gives you a total of $8,600 that you can give to Facebook in exchange for showing your ads to the users. If these media buyers fail to deliver on their promise of 30 new patients in 30 days, you will not be required to pay the media buyer the fee of $1,400. But you still have to pay Facebook the $8,600 that you owe them for showing your ads. Does this make sense? Are you guys getting this? So hopefully this has shed a little bit of light on some of the dangers of hiring a media buyer. Now, in upcoming video, I'm going to explain the difference between a media buyer and a marketer. What you need is a marketer. You don't need a media buyer. Those are very low skill people, and that is not what most chiropractors need. What you need is a marketer who can look at your entire picture of your practice and make sure you're really kicking butt and taking names. So if you are a chiropractor who wants more new patients so that you can make more money and spend more time doing the things that you love, I'm going to put my cell phone number down below. I want you to shoot me a text message, 813-789-9868, and I am going to show you the chiropractic marketing system. And we're going to see if the chiropractic marketing system can help you achieve the goals that you desire in your business. So that's all I've got for today, docs. And until next time, keep moving forward.